A day more anticipated than Christmas. It is the day of Spider-Man brand new day's release. Technically, the movie did come out today, but I saw it yesterday. That's why I was gonna post my review yesterday, but I was so tired when I got home. So here we are, Spider-Man brand new day review. Was it good? Yeah, yeah, it was really really good. I really did like this movie a lot. I thought it was solid. It stood on its own 2 feet. It told a great story, and the characters did amazing with their acting. Tom Holland, Zendaya, John Bernthal, Jacob Batalon, all those people, they did amazing. Now, is this like the best Spider-Man? Like people were saying that this is better than Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2. This is better than even like they were saying it's the best Tom Holland one. It's better than Raimi's trilogy. I don't really see that. Like okay, so a lot of the people reason people are saying that is because if you've seen the trailers, you know that Peter Parker, Tom Holland, is going through a mutation in his body, similar to what Tobey Maguire went through with his, emotional distress in number two. Because this takes place 4 years after the events of No Way Home, which if you've seen No Way Home, you remember that Doctor Strange did a spell and wiped everyone's mind of Peter Parker. And Peter Parker is now living with that, and because he had to lose his girlfriend and his best friend because of that spell, because of something dangerous, because if he didn't do that spell, every villain from the universe, all universes would come and, destroy the world. So he lost MJ and Ned to protect them. So he is trying to take on the mantle of Spider-Man for 4 years alone. And even though he knows he wants to have friends, he is pushing himself to do all this alone. And it is stressing him out. And that's why the mutation is starting to occur because of traumatic events, as well as, he's starting to get headaches in the movie. I'm going to get into some spoilers. So here's your warning. Spoiler warning rules. Okay, whatever. So in the movie, he starts to get some headaches, some pain in his wrists because if you've seen the trailer, he gets organic webs, so yeah. He starts to get some pain in his wrist, he gets some headaches, and eventually he passes out and wakes up in the morning, and he's in a full cocoon of organic webs. So, yeah. So, it's similar to what Tobey Maguire went through with his, emotional distress in number two. Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. So, do I think this is obviously better than the entire Sam Raimi trilogy? No, I don't think that. I think it is definitely one of I think, in my opinion, I'm honestly going to say this in my opinion. I think it is the best out of the 4 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Now, I know a lot of people said No Way Home was amazing, but I think a lot of us can agree that No Way Home, it told a great story. It was really good. It told a great story, had great, moments. But I think we can all agree that No Way Home was almost like it was a fan service movie. It was just to bring in the Spider-Man, bring in the villains from the OG trilogies and whatnot, or trilogy, whatever. But bring in the OG villains. It was a fan service movie, but it was executed really, really well. But I think this one, Brand New Day, is honestly better, and it's not to spoil much. There aren't as many cameos as you think. We know Bruce Banner's in here. We know the Punisher's in here, and there are 2 more cameos. Well, 1 cameo in here. I think everybody knows this. Like I said, there's slight spoilers in this review, but I think everybody knows this. Sadie Sink plays Jean Grey. All right, the spoiler: Jean Grey is played by Sadie Sink in this movie. Sadie Sink plays Jean Grey. So that's a slight cameo. Like when her name was read in the movie, like my theater, cheered and clapped because we didn't know for sure, but everyone knew. But yeah, so Sadie Sink plays Jean Grey. There is 1 cameo in here. I'm not going to spoil it, but my theater did cheer. But again, that's to say there's not as many as you think. It's not a fan service movie. Apart from the beginning montage with those comic accurate panel frames of Spider-Man, rescuing somebody, flipping his webs and whatnot, But it's not a fan service movie. It stands on its own 2 feet. It's about Peter Parker and his struggle with doing this alone for 4 years, and I think it did really well with that. Now, that is to say, I think the beginning half is the better half. I know the ending, the second half of the film is him trying to figure out the mystery of Jean Grey, figure out her motivation, and stop her. I think that the first half is the stronger half, in my opinion. And I say that because there's some really good action sequences. The CGI looks really good, and there is just I don't know. I just feel like mainly because of the way they handled Jean Grey in the end. Like she just semi spoiler. She kind of just is there, does her villain thing, has a talk with like she's able to jump into Peter's mind, and Aunt May, like Peter has this memory of Aunt May talking to him about, being this powerful being because, this was when right when she found out that he was Spider-Man. And Aunt May is talking to Peter about it. Jean Grey hops into Peter's memory and finds this memory of Aunt May telling him, hey, it's going to be okay. People love you. There's a lot of responsibility, but we love you. And, just because you're special doesn't mean we don't like you. And there will always be people out there who are going to hate you and want to hurt you. But you still have people that love you. And then, this touches Jean and she stops all her evil madness powers. But there are people that she jumps into in this movie. Spoiler, she jumps into the mind of Hulk and the Punisher. Hulk and Punisher have very similar sad backstories. The Punisher, if you know anything about him, Frank Castle, his dead wife, his dead child, all of it, he has a very sad backstory. And the Hulk she's in the Hulk's head, so she would have known because Bruce Banner has openly talked about the time he tries to, how do I say this without YouTube killing me? He tried to delete himself from the Minecraft server. He's talked about that openly, and Jean surely would have seen that. So that didn't, Frank Castle's mind or Bruce Banner's mind didn't, trigger something in her, but Spider-Man's did. I don't know, whatever. I found that to be a little weak. But, yeah, I liked the first half of the film better, but that's not to say I didn't like the second half. I did like it. Like, I liked the way it was handled. I like Jean Grey's powers. They're really cool. Sadie Sink does an excellent performance. And the Hulk, I know he's in somewhat slight spoiler. He's only in this movie for a tiny bit. But I like the Hulk versus Spider-Man fight. It's really good. It's action-packed. We get to see some classic Hulk moves like, the thunderclap. We get to see all of that. It's really, really cool. And the ending sets up, and the ending is it's a good ending. It's sort of a cliffhanger. And, but the ending, I think it's really, really good. Overall, I thought Spider-Man Brand New Day was good. I'm a lot of the stuff I want to say is spoilers a lot. So I'm going to try, like I said, there were spoilers. I'm going to try my best to avoid like the big ones. But yeah. So I liked it overall. So where would I place Spider-Man Brand New Day on the sharpness scale? I would place Spider-Man Brand New Day at an 85%. I give it an 85% out of 100 on the scale. Solid, really good story, really good acting, great action sequences, really good CGI. And just a great, telling of this emotional trauma that Peter was going through. So 85% on the scale. That is my review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Adios.